They thought you were harmless. And that is the part I keep coming back to. They looked at you for months, maybe years, and they made a decision about you. Sweet, quiet, not a threat, easy to overlook, easy to talk over, easy to count out. And then, somewhere in the last few weeks, something happened that they did not see coming. You made a move. Not a loud one, not a dramatic one. You just did something small and final, and the whole table flipped. And I want you to stay with me for the next few minutes, because what I am about to tell you, you need to hear it from someone who actually sees it. You have probably noticed they are acting different. The ones who used to dismiss you, their voices got a little tighter when your name comes up. Their texts got a little slower or a little faster, one of the two extremes. They keep bringing you up in conversations where you don't even belong. That is not an accident. That is real. That is so real. Here is the thing nobody is saying out loud. They miscalculated you. They built their entire strategy around the version of you that would not push back. The version that would absorb it. The version that would explain itself, defend itself, beg for understanding. And you just stopped playing the game. You did not announce it, you did not post about it, you just stopped showing up to a game you never agreed to play in the first place. And let me be really specific about what they looked like, because I think you have been doubting yourself. I think you have been wondering if you overreacted, if you should have done it differently, if maybe you were the problem after all. So let me just name what actually happened. There was a moment, maybe a few weeks ago, maybe longer. You were sitting somewhere. Kitchen, car, edge of your bed, doesn't matter. And someone said something or did something, and you felt that familiar pull, the pull to explain, the pull to fix it, the pull to smooth it over so they would not be uncomfortable. And for the first time in a long time, you did not. You did not reach for the phone, you did not rehearse the apology. You just sat in the quiet and felt the weight of your own decision. That was the move. That was the table flipping. They just did not know it yet. Think of a specific moment. Maybe it's a Tuesday evening. You are standing in your kitchen and light from the window is going the soft orange color. It does right before dusk, and your phone buzzes on the counter. It's their name, and you look at it and you feel that old reflex come up in your chest. The one that says answer fast, smooth it over, don't let them think you're upset. And then, slower than that reflex, something else came up. Something quieter. Something that said, no, not this time. And you turned the phone face down. And you went back to making dinner. And the world did not end. They did not die. The relationship did not collapse in some big visible way. Nothing happened, except the entire shape of the dynamic changed in that one small motion. That was a move on the board they were not even watching. Here is what most people don't understand about how this actually works. The biggest shifts don't look like shifts in the moment. They look like nothing. They look like silence. They look like a person not responding where they used to respond immediately. They look like a chair pushed back from a table, not flipped over it. The flip happens later in the mind, when they finally realize you are not coming back to your seat. And let me be really specific. Right now, somewhere, someone is replaying a conversation with you in their head. They are going over what they said, how you reacted, or did not react it. They are looking for the moment they lost you. They can't find it because it was not one moment. It was 1,000 small moments where they took your softness for granted and you were quietly keeping count. I know how that sounds. I know it sounds like I'm describing something cold, but you are not cold. You are clear. There is difference. Cold is when you stopped caring. Clear is when you finally cared about yourself enough to stop translating yourself into a language that was never going to understand you anyway. And then something shifted. Not in them, in you. The dynamic flipped because you flipped it without making a sound. You stopped explaining yourself. You stopped pre-apologizing for taking up space. You stopped softening your sentences with maybe and just and I think and I'm sorry. You stopped warming up the room before you walked into it. You stopped doing emotional labor that nobody assigned you, but everyone expected from you. You stopped translating. And without that translations, without these translations, they had to deal with you in your actual language, and they did not know it. They never bothered to learn it. They assumed you would always be the one bending toward them. They built their whole posture around that assumption. So when you stopped bending, they fell. Not because you pushed them, because they were already learning on something that was not supposed to be holding them up. You have not become different. You just stopped hiding. You just stopped performing harmless when you were never actually harmless. You were just patient. There is the difference, and they are learning it now in real time. Let me tell you what is happening on their side, because I know you have been wondering. I know your brain has been spinning, trying to figure out why they are being so weird, why the energy is so off, why people who never gave you a second thought are suddenly very, very aware of where you are in the room. They are shook. That is the word. They are genuinely shook. Not in a dramatic way, in a quiet internal way that they would never admit. They keep checking your social media, not to engage, just to see. They keep mentioning you in conversation with mutual people, fishing for information they don't really know how to ask for. They keep replaying that last interaction with you, the one where you did not react the way they expected. Strange casual messengers, They show up in places they did not show up before. They get suddenly interested in things you are doing. Or on the other side, they go completely silent and pretend you don't exist, but there is watching. They are watching, trust me, they are watching. Both reactions are the same reactions. They are reaction to the loss of control. And here is the part I think you need to know. They are comparing themselves to you now. They never did before. Before you were benefits comparison in their head. Now, suddenly they are noticing what you are wearing, what you are posting, what you are talking to. They are measuring. They are measuring and they don't like the math because the math says you were always operating on a different level and they just refuse to see it. They do. They do see it now and they cannot unsee it. They are not reacting to who you are. They are reacting to what you are reflecting back. And what you are reflecting back is uncomfortable. You are reflecting back that they were never as important to your stability as they thought they were. That you were never as dependent as they assumed. That the whole structure of your dynamic was a story they were telling, and you finally stopped agreeing to be a character in it. That is not a small thing. That is the table flipped, and they are still picking up the pieces, trying to figure out what just happened, while you are already walked into the next room. So let me tell you what you don't have to do. Let them talk. Let them speculate. Let them tell other people their version of what happened. You don't have to correct the record. You don't have to defend yourself. You don't have to make sure everyone has the right information. That is not your responsibility. The truth has a way of surfacing on its own, and the people who are meant to see you clearly already do. Let them be confused. You don't owe anyone an explanation for why you stopped showing up the way you used to. You don't have to write the breakup text or the closure letter or the long message that explains every reason. Sometimes the most honest thing you can do is just not. Just stop. Just let the silence do the explaining. Let them be uncomfortable. The discomfort is information for them, not a problem for you. They are uncomfortable because they are being asked to see something they did not want to see. That's not cruelty on your part. That is clarity. And clarity is a gift even when it stinks. You don't have to be small to be kind. You don't have to be available to be loving. You don't have to be reachable to be trustworthy. Those were rules someone else made up, and you observe them, and now you are putting them down. You don't have to soften this. You are not being mean. You are being honest. There is a difference, and you are allowed to know it. You are not the villain here. I need you to hear me. I really need you to hear me on this one. You are not the villain just because someone decided to cast you as the villain. You are allowed to remove yourself from a story without it making you the bad guy. You are allowed to stop participating without owing a press release. And this thing they are calling cold. This thing they are calling distant. This thing they are calling different. That is not coldness. That is a person who finally stopped abandoning themselves. That is not a flaw. That is the whole, that is the whole point. Here is what is coming, and I want you to hold this in your chest. The dust is going to settle. It's already starting now. The people who needed you small are going to either grow or they are going to drift. Both of those are okay. Both of those are part of it. You don't have to manage which one they choose. That is their work. You did yours. New people are arriving. They are already on their way. People who see you in your full size and don't flinch. People who don't need you to translate yourself. People who are not threatened by your clarity, who actually find it attractive, who lean into it instead of away from it. They are coming. Some of them are already here. You just have not fully recognized them yet, because you have been so used to scanning for danger. New opportunities are opening. The ones that required the old version of you. They are closing, and that is supposed to happen. The ones that need this version, the real one, they are forming. You will feel them when they arrive. They will feel different, lighter, less like prowling and more like recognizing. You have already chosen this. That is what I want you to remember when the doubt creeps back in 2 a.m. You already made the choice. The hard part is behind you. The part that felt like death, the part that felt like you were destroying something. That part is done. What is left is the slow rebuilding of the life that actually fits you. This is your moment to stop checking to see if you did the right thing. You did. Your nervous system knows. Your body knows. The quiet in your chest that was not there before, that is the answer. You look harmless. You always have. That is a gift. That is a camouflage. That is a strategic advantage you did not even know you were carrying. People reveal who they really are when they think you are not paying attention. And you were always paying attention. You were just deciding when to use what you learned, and you use it beautifully, quietly, without spectacle. You flip the whole table, and most of them are still sitting there, wondering when the game ended. The game ended when you stopped playing. That was always the only rule that mattered. So, here you are. On the other side of it, a little tired, a little tender, a little uncertain about what comes next. That is okay. That is normal. You don't have to feel triumphant. You don't have to feel anything in particular. You just have to keep being the version of yourself that finally got to come home. You are not harmless. You are not dangerous either. You are just real, and real is the rarest thing there is. You have got this. You have already got this. Love you. Be safe out there.